Benjamin Akachukwu, Akim Muraino, Anthony Polo, Ato Arinze, Chinyere Odinukwe, Dofan Kwagu, Emeze Asogwa, Tony Nsofo, Chris Echeta, Obi Nwegbe, Tobenna Ukwosa, Blaze Gbaden, Ike Okenyi, George Odo, Jerry Buhari, Abigail Naji, Chu Chris Ikwemesi, and Rita Doris Uba are here. They're paying homage to Things Fall Apart at 60. This is the Bureau for Nature. His Royal Majesty Nemeka Achebe is a special guest of honor. Prince Yemisi Shilon, the biggest art collector in Nigeria, is also here. Other art enthusiasts and artists have come to discuss why the center refuses to hold. Things Fall Apart, the epic novel written by Chinua Achebe, turned 60 in 2018. It tells the story of Africa from an African perspective. These 18 artists are here to pay homage to a legend, though dead, but still speaks through his writings.
It's one of those books that don't die, and Achebe is one of those writers that will always live forever in the sense of creative immortality.
The exhibiting artists are Nigerians of different ethnic backgrounds.
All the artists have read Things Fall Apart, and we decided to look for people who had interest in exploring ideas in Things Fall Apart through the instrumentality of visual art. So that was how we were able to assemble 18 artists to take part in this exhibition.
This is an exhibition of art in diverse media in celebration of Africa's pathfinding novel.
The title of this work is The Silhouette of Us, deriving the concept from how loyal we are to our national symbols such as flags and our country too. So if I have to draw from the book Things Fall Apart, I'll take this from the pre-colonization to post-colonization. Like before the white men came, we had our culture, we had our value system, but then when they came, we now had an enforced culture in us. Ikemefuna was somebody that was enforced into Okonkwo's household, and then Okonkwo tried to see if he can manage him. There was love for him and all that, but he still had his personality which he couldn't hold back, and that was what led him to do what he had to do with Ikemefuna. And those are the challenges that we see ourselves. There are lots of conflicts, and then there are resolutions too when we have to talk about living together as a country.
My works on this exhibition are titled Things That Tear Us Apart, Mandela's Sermon, and The Arrival. Records have shown that colonialism penetrated African soil as far back as the 15th century for the purpose of economic expansion and evangelism. Chinua Achebe, in his novel Things Fall Apart, captured this, where he says, "The white man is truly clever. He came quietly and peaceable with his religion. We were amused by his foolishness and allowed him to stay, and he put a knife to the things that held us together. And now we are falling apart." So my works are attempts at the construction of Western austerity and a construction of African opinion, revering social, cultural ideas and philosophies. They are made of fire-treated burlap and acrylics. It was rendered in an abstract way whereby I explored text and forms in creating my paintings.
I titled it Unoka. This is wood. I'm so worried about our value system, and that is what inspired me to work on this. You know, Unoka was Okonkwo's father, a great flutist, and he was still termed a loafer in Things Fall Apart because he was not rich. I'm using it to say that you must not be rich financially to be great. You can still be great without being rich financially, because that is really affecting our value system.
The two works here are titled The Beginning of a Great Narrative 1 and Beginning of a Great Narrative 2. What I've done in two of them is to use the very first sentence of the novel, which says Okonkwo was well known throughout the 9 villages and even beyond. And I use it and I repeated it. Here I use the traditional Uli wall painting to give a context in which the novel unfolded, which is the Igbo culture, an image of Phineas painted. at that age at which he wrote it, as a young man, Okonkwo was well known throughout the Nine Villages and even beyond because he defeated the great wrestler, Amalinze. And that was what gave the popularity we're talking about, of him being known throughout the Nine Villages and even beyond. This was about the consequence of the colonialism. He has lost his identity as an African, and he has taken the identity of the West as a Christian.
The father and son, my father and I had a very strong bond. I spent a lot of time in his library reading his books while he was there. And being a teacher too, spent a lot of time tutoring me about so many things, academics, about life, about family values. He's late now. This is one of the many paintings I made as a way of immortalizing our friendship. And then when I put that in relation to the contrast we had with Unoka and his son, rather, where Okonkwo was not proud of his father. On the contrary, I was proud of my father.
The theme of the work is movements, half-truths, and the ends of the earth. It is my own viewpoint on the story of migration. Migration from Africa, some parts of Asia and Americas, to the global north. It's not always a story of desperate journeys, as has been propagated over the years. Yes, those stories are valid, but there are other alternate realities to the migration story. Yes, they are valid, they should be spoken about, but the good ones should also follow suit.
This is forward to the past. It tries to celebrate ancient knowledge systems of Africans, of Igbo people, trying to encourage us to go back to the past for possible insights that can lead us to the pathways of today and tomorrow.
The works have been shown in Awka, Enugu and Abuja. The Lagos art community is excited seeing the collection.
Very strong impression, very good impression. The variety of them, the scope, the concept, the diversity in the mediums that they've applied. All collectively are very, very impressive.
Well, I'm impressed. Very detailed work, very innovative and unique. Good composition. It discusses the timelessness of Chinua Achebe's work on Things Fall Apart.
It's great, marvelous, splendid, something I've not seen in recent times. I've been around 1 or 2, 3 exhibitions, in a short period of time within this time around. But this one, like I say, is great and beautiful.
Very, very interesting, very illuminating. It's like taking a walk into Things Fall Apart, seeing different artists interpreting the period, the struggle between colonialism and between the traditional Igbo culture.
The Obi of Furniture shares the same surname with late Professor Chinua Achebe.
It's a privilege for me. As an older person, as a world-famous guy, and my body is, people keep thinking I'm him. I have to explain to them that I'm not him.
These painstakingly done art pieces reflects different facets of our society. How has art appreciation fared in our nation?
Art appreciation today has come a long way. Just like creativity also by Nigerians in terms of visual art and other arts, literature, dance, music, drama. We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go because our artists are not well supported. They're not well promoted.
We still need a lot of enlightenment for our political leaders to appreciate the need for them to incorporate art in the national developmental space. As of today, we don't have a cultural policy. It's always being reviewed every year. And if you don't have the cultural policy, you don't have a template on which to develop art.
These accomplished artists have addressed different issues from iconic moments and characters in the novel. They have the opinion that only Africans can make things not to continue to fall apart in the continent.